Good morning, everybody. My name is Kaylee Falvo, and I am the school social worker over at Meade Junior High, and I'm going to be going over our SOS presentation today. So, we understand that suicide can be a challenging topic for everybody. So, at any time, if you need a break, please feel free to pause this or go ahead and take a break. Also, help is always available. You have the crisis text line and the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, which are available 24/7. You can also take your child to any local hospital and ask for a free assessment, and they can help you from there. So, today's agenda, I'm going to be talking about the Youth Suicide Prevention Basics Act, which is what we teach our students, which is acknowledge, care, tell, what to do when your child acts, and building coping skills, and then finally, resources. So, why does suicide happen? So, really, it's trying to stop intense emotional pain. So, you can think about untreated depression. So, the majority of people who die by suicide have a mental health disorder, which is most commonly depression. These mental health conditions are treatable, but many kids struggle without getting help. When depression goes untreated, a young person may begin to feel so hopeless that they do consider suicide. There's also drinking or drug use. Many young people who struggle with depression also struggle with alcohol and or drug use. Talk to your child about the dangers of using alcohol or drugs to cope with negative emotions. If you are aware of your child using substances, seek support. There is isolating and withdrawing. Then there is loss of hope. Then you have access to guns, which suicide crises are often short term, but having access to a gun makes it easier to carry out the act in an instant. Many people keep unlocked guns in their homes, making them easy to get, quick, and deadly for any young person. Reduce suicide risk by not storing a gun in your home. If you choose to keep a gun in your home, keep it locked, unloaded, and lock or store your ammunition separately. Then you have thoughts of suicide. So when someone has thoughts of suicide, it does not necessarily mean they want to die. Instead, the person is trying to solve the problem of intense emotional pain and hopelessness. People generally don't want to die. They want the pain to stop. So how can we prevent suicide? So again, you play an important part in keeping young people safe. So again, there's treatment for depression, there's healthy habits, connection to peer and trusted adults. So again, building that connection to peers and adults as well as those healthy coping skills can buffer young people during difficult times. Those coping skills, which are very helpful, preventing access to guns, and the feeling of hope. So your child also has an important role, and this is where I'm going to be talking about what your students are going to be learning in school through our SOS program. So if your child sees signs of suicide, they are going to be learning to act, which you have acknowledge, which is acknowledge signs of depression or suicide in a friend. Care, show their friend they care, and tell, which they will be telling a trusted adult. So through SOS signs of suicide, students will watch a video and engage in class discussions to learn to act, acknowledge, care, tell. Parents are an important part of this message as trusted adults in their children's lives. Students may talk to you about concerns for themselves or friends. So, most people give clues that they are thinking about suicide. So, they might have anger, big changes in behavior, such as withdrawal from family or friends, hopelessness, sleeping more or sleeping less, drinking or drug use, overwhelming pain, or even just talking about suicide. So these are the signs that the students are learning to identify through video and discussions in the classroom. So we really think it's important for you all to know those signs as well. So the next part is, again, showing that you care. So students are learning about the power of listening to their friend and showing they care. So explain how you're going to be encouraging your students to practice active listening when they are concerned about a friend. And students can use a few simple phrases to show that they care and listen. So it's okay to feel that way. Tell me more about it. I'm here for you. And then that next part is tell. So they're going to be telling a trusted adult, which can be very difficult. I know a lot of our students feel like they need to keep this as a secret, but we do explain to them that this is something that you cannot keep a secret. So if they are worried about a friend, think about suicide, that they need to tell a trusted adult. Do not keep They can't be promising to keep this a secret, and it's worth making a friend mad at you if you were trying to save their life. So again, SOS encourages students to reach out and tell a trusted adult. So we really encourage them to explain about the benefits of reaching out to that trusted adult. So if your child is worried about a friend and they come to you, just listen to your child's concerns and encourage them to seek help. Contact their friends' parents directly and share your child's concerns. Contact school mental health staff and or administration so they can support the child and the family. If you are concerned about the child's immediate safety, call 911 and reassure your child that they did the right thing by telling you. Work together to help save a life. And again, there is always help available. You have their pediatrician, their school counselor, immediate safety, call 911, both of those resources. And again, any nearby hospital you can take your child in for a free assessment. So then we go on about managing reactions. So you all do not need to be an expert or have all the answers. What it's really about is just give yourself permission to be human. So it's common to feel uncomfortable with this topic. Talk to a supportive person beforehand and debrief after. And most importantly, never keep what you learn a secret. So again, this is kind of what we are telling our students. But again, we think it is very important for you all to know that we know this is a heavy topic and it's not going to feel comfortable to talk about. So you're going to be building protective factors. So some students thrive during distance learning and others struggled without their favorite sports activities and access to a trusted adult. So we're really encouraging you all to work with your child this year to kind of figure out how they can stay connected this year. So again, connection to school, participation in activities, and strong connection to friends. And let your child know that they are always ready. You are always ready to listen, whether they are concerned about a friend or struggling themselves. They do not need to worry alone. Coping skills are a great way to kind of help with some of these thoughts. So we're going to be encouraging you guys to kind of brainstorm with your teens to kind of build a good coping skills list. So it could be exercise, writing down what you were grateful for, talk to friends and family, listen to music, playing video games, getting competitive in a sport or TV, escaping to watch a great, Netflix series or a good book, or playing and snuggling with the family pet, just different things like that. And then really just talking with your teen. So we really want you guys to be having those open conversations about mental health with your students. So parents should be helping to normalize the conversation because feelings of depression or anxiety may be hidden. Depression is not a character flaw. Instead, it is a serious mental health disorder that is treatable. So some of these tips that we have ask open-ended questions. So let your child steer the conversation to what they want to talk about. Don't rush to solve their problems. Instead, ask what they think would help a situation. And be available and make sure your child knows it. So I'm around if you want to talk later. That could also be helpful. So asking about suicide. It's okay to ask about suicide. So I think sometimes we struggle with the actual words to say when it comes down to talking about suicide. Rest assured that asking somebody about suicide will not put the idea in their head. Instead, it lets them know that you can see how much pain they are in and that you want to help. If you are concerned that your child might be thinking about suicide, you can ask indirectly by saying something like, "Do you ever wish you were dead?" Or you can ask directly. This is a difficult conversation no matter what. If it's too difficult to have a conversation alone, enlist help. Another parent, a relative, your school counselor, pediatrician, or a national helpline can all support you in talking to your child. So again, those indirect questions, do you wish you would wake up? Do you wish you would go to sleep and not wake up? Do you wish you were dead? Or direct questions. Have you ever thought about killing yourself? Or have you had thoughts about suicide? Again, these do not put the idea into their head. So some tips for getting your teens to talk. Teen-led family meetings. Let your teens set the agenda. Playing a game. This makes teens more comfortable about talking about a difficult topic. If the subject comes up in a movie or TV show, you can have a discussion about it there. When you're out for a walk, because it's a relaxed atmosphere can make it easier for some teens to open up. Taking a drive, So sometimes it's easier to talk about difficult topics without eye contact. Continuing the conversation or have multiple mini conversations on a regular basis instead of one big talk. And then enlist other trusted adults. Sometimes a grandparent or a trusted aunt or uncle can break through when parents have been shut out. So the action steps, again, I'm just going to summarize them. Look out for warning signs and seek help immediately. Help build coping skills and positive supports for your child, and talk to your child about suicide and be ready to listen when your child acts. So again, together we can make a difference. So while parents play an important role, they are not alone in the fight to prevent youth suicide. Our schools and communities must work together to support students. So this visual as the top 2 leading causes of death for teens. While suicide is now the second leading cause of death for teens, the first one is leading cause is accidents. So over the past 15 years, our nation has dramatically reduced the number of teens dying in car accidents. So how did we do it? We had safer cars, safer roads, increased driver's ed, strict licensing requirements for teens, increased drinking and driving laws. Next, so we have the new texting while driving and hands-free laws, reduced speed limits. So then we want to start thinking about what we can do as trusted adults to prevent suicide. An important kind of take-home message that we want for you all is to know that you guys are able to kind of reach out to anybody at the school, any of your own trusted people that you can talk to, so that we can all, again, kind of help out your child if you have any concerns about them. So the SOS parent page, you guys can access this page to learn about youth suicide prevention. You guys can sample the SOS student videos and take an online mental health screening on behalf of their child. And then we have ACT for parents. So again, it's important to act if your child is showing any concerns. This infographic is also available in your SOS portal. So I encourage you all to kind of maybe hang this on the fridge or somewhere that you can have this, you can start this conversation with your teen once they get their own training as well. So again, thank you all so much for taking the time to listen to this. Together, we can ensure that every student has a trusted adult to turn to. So we appreciate your support of youth suicide prevention in our school and community. If you have any questions, please contact Mr. Ross at 847-357-6070.